I am an entrepreneur. I never planned on being one. In fact, as far as I remember, I've spent most of my adolescent life running away from being a businessman, from being an entrepreneur. And I believe that was because somewhere this is what was expected out of me. My dad was a businessman. He had his shop in Old Delhi where he had his trading business. And the family tradition went that you take commerce in 11th, 12th, join the business right after 12th and pursue some graduation degree on the side. I was not comfortable with this thought. It cringed me, to even think that this is what I want to do in my life. And it cringed me so much so that it was not only the fact that I have to take commerce, it also turned me off from this thought of starting your own business per se. I had decided that of all the things that I do in life, I would never ever start my own business. And what I want to share with you today, what I want to talk about today is some of those defining moments in my life which made me move from then to now. And first of those moments is, it was actually an unfortunate time in my life when I was doing my MBA in IIM Calcutta. I lost my dad during that time. Our business was already kind of on the downhill, not doing good, so financially we were not that well anyways. But after all this, I had my mom who was a housewife, my brother and sister was still studying, and I had an impending marriage that I had to cater to. With all of this, it was just, I would say, probably the most inopportune time for me to be in that situation, but I felt responsible. I felt like I am the only breadwinner in the house and I have to do something. By some stroke of luck, I did get a good internship, in Australia, and saved some good bucks out of it. When I came back, I had 3 lakh rupees in account. For a guy who's still studying, I think it's still decent. But when I got to really putting together an Excel sheet on what I need to survive the next year and a half, and tend to my family, tend to my marriage, tend to my siblings, the number was 6. Now, how does a student, much like most of you guys here, move from 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs? I mean, I didn't believe in lottery that much. It was not even legal in India. But there had to be something. And it was under those circumstances that I thought that I would start doing something on the side. And that side for me was stock market. I was not punting. I was not blind. We thought that we'd done all the homework. We studied intraday trading. We studied algorithmic trading. We studied what actually goes into the upswings of the market, the downswings of the market. How do you position yourself so that you're making the most of it? I thought we did. And it was working, by the way. From 3, we moved to 4, 5, 5.5. And this is all within 3 to 4 months. And we started believing we are kind of some wizards of stock market. Humse acha kisi ko nahi aata. Right? And you start dreaming, you start creating scenarios, you start thinking about, now I need more capital. Should I loan it from bank? Should I loan it from people? Should I take it on interest? Should I get in people and share equity? All those thoughts are going through. And in my mind, we've already created this castle where I have made enough money and retired at age of 32. I'm 33 today. It didn't work. Because one of the cardinal rules of intraday trading is never leave a position open. It was on one of these Fridays that I was sitting and trading and I was down by 25,000 rupees. So the 5.5 had already come down to 5.25 lakhs. And I was like, no, I cannot close. I cannot book this much loss. It will set me back by so much. I have a good feeling. I really think that the markets will turn up on Monday and I don't need to do that. I made a mistake. I broke my discipline. I kept the position open. That was the weekend that Lehman came down. That was the weekend where the markets tumbled overnight to less than half, where Nifty was trading at 5,000, it came down to 2,300. My 5.5 lakhs came down to minus 1 lakh rupees. And I was kicking myself in the butt. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed in myself that I had let everybody around me down. I was supposed to be the responsible person. I was supposed to be the person who takes us out of this entire mess, and I had created a further one out of it. But more so, I was disappointed and I was devastated that this was the first time I had ventured out. It was the first thing that I did on my own. It was my first, so to say, business. Something I had resolved not to do. I got into it and I made a mockery of it. That's what really, really hurt me the most. Although I did get married. It's the same woman. But I resolved that I would never, 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 never again now get into a business. The second moment was about a year from this. By second year in my MBA, I had already landed a comfy management consultant job with McKinsey, literally the dream. That's something I'd prepared for most of the last few years. That's what I wanted. High-flying job, business class tickets, hotels, big organization, problem at scale, beautiful life. Financial stability. Stability that now I have enough means, now I have a platform that will help me for the rest of my life. But again, the happiness was short-lived. I was not the only one hit by the 2008 downturn. We got a message saying that all the joinings for that year have been postponed to next. So while they will help us, they can help us get some opportunities, they can help us in some minor financial way, no way enough for me to make up for the mess that I had already created and for me to put together my life. But that's where you again get kind of a silver lining in the cloud, right? So one of my IIM Calcutta seniors was putting together a business and he was looking for someone to help, put it from grounds up, help set it up. And that was kind of the timing and the opportunity matched very well. I decided to take it. It was a business in which visual merchandising, what we did was, basically manage store presence for big companies like Toshiba, Intel, etc. But the part where my role was really setting up the tech backbone and hiring 3,000 people across 38 cities within a matter of 6 months. It was real hard work. Complete opposite of what I had thought of in McKinsey. But what confused me the most was that I liked it. I actually began to like the only thing I had resolved I would never do again. And I was in it so much so that the founder of that business actually did give me 20% equity to stay back and not go to McKinsey. But in my mind, I was like, listen, this is what I've prepped for all my life. This is something that I've decided I would not do. I would go to McKinsey. I kick myself again in the butt this day because that business is now a 100 crore business with a 40 crore 40 crore profits every year. But I took a call, went to McKinsey. But something kind of came with me. This entire feeling of liking starting up, of building things grounds up, and I couldn't leave it behind. I stayed 3 years with McKinsey, but always had that lurking feeling of wanting to start something because that's something that I like. Push it away for 3 years and then finally started I can say my first company per se, but probably my third or fourth twist with starting up. It's called printvenue.com. It's an online printing company, printing and personalization portal. When I started, I was of course the first employee. I was the coder. I was the mailman. I was the chaiwala. By the way, when you're starting up, the two best skills are Maggie and chai. Nothing can beat those two skills. I had to do everything on my own. From those days where we believed that for us, the first success parameter is being able to hire a pantry boy, to taking it over the years and building it into a business which transpired across 4-5 countries, 100-member team, self-sustaining. I learned that the biggest thing that you can use or you can actually build in creating sustainable businesses is a core, is the team, is the people that you carry along with you. I did get bored of the challenge and I wanted to look for a bigger challenge. I spent 3 years building Print Venue. Actually, it's kind of getting into a pattern now, 3 years. I'm completing 3 years with foodpanda soon. But looked for a bigger challenge and really got excited by foodpanda because I think it's a problem at scale. Who doesn't love food? I do. And something I think is fundamentally not right in India today. You know, whether you talk about hygiene standards, whether you talk about the experience on delivery, or you talk about how you get to know restaurants. I think there's a lot that needs to get done. And that's the challenge that I picked. But again, the only thing that helped me go over this entire thing was my experience from Print Venue of building great teams. I have Kunal here with me today, who's literally helped me put this entire thing together. We run with the vision of changing the way India eats, of revolutionizing food. And it cannot be done without a very, very, very strong core. Every successful startup that you see, the idea is just the tip. What is really keeping it afloat is everything that goes beyond it. It's the passion. It's the failures. Each one of those count. It's the challenges that you face. It's the team that you build. At the end of the day, it is about that. So I want to leave you guys with this. If you do want to start up, and you should, this is the best time to do that. 2017 has seen highest investment going into startups than any other year. But be sure of picking up the right challenge. You know, don't be afraid of challenging the status quo. India has 25 to 30 million small businesses. Do you know that? Yet we say that we are producing only 20,000 startups every year. Where is the lack? Where is the mismatch? For me, I think the biggest difference between a business and a startup is pushing the problem, is pushing the envelope, is fundamentally changing things rather than incrementally changing things. So number one, please challenge the status quo. Otherwise, it's just another thing. I think now that I look back, I think that is something that cringed me about going into that shop in Old Delhi, Kashmiri Gate. Push the problem. Second, believe. Trust me, in all these years, there's only one thing that I've learned, that things will always and always go south. And the only thing that can pull you through it, that can pull you through this entire mess, is your grit, your determination, your passion. If you're not fully into it, might as well get out yesterday. You know, when I was starting Print Venue, I went to one of my entrepreneur friends for advice. I said, listen, I've already taken the plunge. How do I plan for it? How do I prepare myself for what is about to come? And his answer was, you can't. He said, but I'm sure you've made a business plan. I said, yes, I have. Proud. He said, have you made sure it is conservative? And I was like, proud. Yes, it's as conservative as it can get. He said, wonderful. Give it a 25% haircut. Call it God. I said, God? He said, yes, because every time you plan for something, you believe in something, you assume that God will be there to help you through it. And he said, of my experience, I've realized that God is the best mother-in-law. Twisting that knife just a little bit more at the right time. I have a good mother-in-law, I mean. I love you. So, but yeah, the point is, you will face those situations. And the only thing that will pull you through them is if you have the right passion. And last but not the least, surround yourself with right people, whether it's in personal life or in professional life. everything that we have gone through, and I can say especially over the last couple of years, the only thing that has helped us remain sane during this period is this team. The team which can really do things together, which can break the rocks, but most importantly, which can have fun and which can be together. At the end, I want to end with two quotes, one in English, one in Hindi. The English one, which is very close to my heart, is that in the life's battles, it's not always the stronger or the faster that wins. But sooner or later, the person who wins is the man who thinks he can. It's all in the mind. It's all in the heart. And to end with one of my very favorite poets, Rahat Indori, he says, धुएं की तरह पर्वतों से उड़ते हैं, महक की तरह गुलों से उड़ते हैं. धुएं की तरह पर्वतों से उड़ते हैं, महक की तरह गुलों से उड़ते हैं. ये कैंचियां हमें क्या खाक रोकेंगी कि हम परों से नहीं हौसलों से उड़ते हैं. Thank you.